Yun, hello everyone. I was actually listening to the questions earlier and it feels a bit nostalgic kasi yung mga questions niyo were actually similar questions that I had in the past. And one thing that I can actually attest in terms of the throughout the training and also the guidance that Rex and the team has actually given me. In the projects that I handled is that all of your questions um, just ask because it really helps and it clarifies a lot of things in your project. As Rex shared, I actually started with my green belt. So I had one Lean Six Sigma project, and then I continued, and then another. This one is for the black belt. So the initial was processing, and the second one is defect. So for this project, it's basically QA defects, and the challenges that I actually had, or the reason or the effects, as you guys were talking about earlier, were we had a lot of error counts on like specific campaigns or clients, which basically led to performance challenges and some attrition. Also, due to the errors, QA errors or defects, we had some negative client optics because the clients or the customers actually submitted some issues to them, which they raised to us. So it wasn't, um, it it's somehow not a good experience, of course, because the clients are not happy with some items. Now, throughout the project, when I was actually doing it, since this is a company-wide project, things that I actually had some challenges with is basically working with different departments because as a Lean Six Sigma professional, technically these people don't really report to you, diba? So you're going to be working with different departments. You're going to be working with supervisors, managers, directors, let's say. And the most important thing is basically for you to be there as someone who will help, not really someone who will do magic or let's say boss around people. So for me, in my experience, what really helped go through and work through those roadblocks is to partner with the sponsor because the sponsor basically is the person who can speak and who can persuade these leaders in helping me, of course, in completing also my project. So um, what helped me I mean how how Six Sigma PH helped me in my project. So I had my training last year 2022 for the black belt, and I started my project right at the time that I started the training. So um, I've shared earlier that I actually had a lot of questions, and it came to a point wherein I thought that I already knew the answers to my questions. But then when I presented to Rex and the team, there were actually some items that I didn't prepare for. So I tried going back to the project, and what really helped me was just to really have an open mind and ask questions and implement the feedback that they gave, because it really helps when they give you guidance. And probably the tips that I could share with you is never be afraid to ask questions. Start as soon as you can, because if you don't start, somehow you will lose the drive, and there's a lot of things that you do on a day-to-day basis, so this, which is separate from your project. So it really helps if you start as soon as you can. And if things because of the day-to-day stuff that you do separate from your project, if you lose somehow the motivation to push and complete the project, find motivation, because uh, you are the only person who would actually stop yourself from completing the project. So also, it is okay to take a breather. If everything is overwhelming for you, take a breather, but don't forget to go back and push yourself in completing it. So that's it. How were you able to keep your primary stakeholder engaged? So I had a weekly meeting with my sponsor. He was pretty engaged with the project, how things are, and that helped me like present what are the current things that I'm doing, what are the roadblocks, what are the items that I need help with. So constant communication. Uh, that's it.
Okay.
There.
So, okay lang ba, Syvelle, to share uh, ano yung role mo ngayon and what company you're with? And
Um,
yung training mo ba, is it corporate funded or is it self-funded?
so I am with Booth and Partners. Currently with Booth and Partners, it is a company. Yeah, it was provided by the company.
Okay. And then the timeline. Kailan ka ba na green and black? And then how long did it take you to complete the black belt project?
So nag-green ako 2021, I think it was May or June.
Mhm.
Tapos natapos ko yung green belt ko October. I got certified December. Black belt naman, I think it was May din ata yun. May 2022 for black belt. And then I finished the project November. Got certified got my certification January
Mhm.
this year.
Okay. All right. Oh, what's it like, Syvelle, completing the project? Meron bang nangyari between working relationship between you and your bosses or executives in the company?
Meron. So, from let's say I'll start with client perspective. So when we have new clients visiting the company, when they know that there's a black belt na like leader in the company, they are actually really amazed. There are clients who know what Lean Six Sigma is, and if they know what it is, they are pretty much amazed. We actually had some clients who signed up. Not really solely because of that, but it had a major impact to them. In terms of the stakeholders, like internal stakeholders, um, basically they love to like rely on let's say certain processes. So since uh, I am already trained, right? They lean on me in terms of, let's say, improving overall process. So basically, um, I get to be involved on more company-wide projects. So, yan.
Okay, so meaning yung reputation nag-iba, no? And then
Mm.
naging in demand, dadami yung work in demand, pero sometimes that's very fulfilling, when we earn the respect of our boss and peers. That's really something that we can get from this